The Toronto Blue Jays, the lone Canadian team standing proud in Major League Baseball. Born in 1977, they've become far more than just a baseball club. They're a symbol of national pride, a unifying force that's brought an entire country together every summer. Through decades of heartbreak, rebuilding, and triumph, the Blue Jays have given fans stories that feel like chapters in a shared national memory. From their humble beginnings to back-to-back World Series championships, one thing has stayed constant: the legends who wore the blue and white. These players didn't just play the game, they defined eras, inspired generations, and made Toronto baseball unforgettable. So today, we honor them. These are the 20 greatest Toronto Blue Jays players of all time. Number 20, Josh Donaldson. When Josh Donaldson arrived in Toronto in 2015, he didn't just bring power, he brought fire. Every inning, every play, he attacked the game like it owed him something. That season, Donaldson hit 41 home runs, drove in 123 runs, and became the emotional heartbeat of a team that finally brought playoff baseball back to Toronto. After more than 2 decades of waiting, he won the American League MVP award, the first Blue Jay to do it since George Bell in 1987. And he did it with a mix of swagger, grit, and pure intensity. Fans called him the bringer of rain, and he lived up to the name. His walk-off hits, leaping catches, and laser throws at third base made the Rogers Center shake with energy. For 2 unforgettable seasons, Donaldson wasn't just a player, he was a storm. He didn't just play in Toronto, he reignited it. Number 19, Joe Carter. There are moments in baseball history that live forever, and Joe Carter owns one of them. October 23, 1993, Game 6. The Blue Jays were down by 1 run, Mitch Williams on the mound. Carter steps in, the tension of an entire nation hanging in the air. Then came the swing, a deep drive to left field. The ball soared, the crowd erupted, and Tom Cheek's immortal call rang out. "Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life." It wasn't just a walk-off. It was a championship. It was Canada's dream. The Blue Jays' second straight World Series title. Joe Carter might not have the lifetime numbers to make Cooperstown, but that swing, that one perfect, unforgettable swing, made him immortal in Toronto. Number 18, Roberto Alomar. Grace, defense, magic. Roberto Alomar wasn't just a second baseman. He was a ballet dancer in cleats. Every double play looked like art in motion. Every at-bat, a masterclass in timing, rhythm, and poise. He helped lead Toronto to back-to-back World Series titles, capturing ALCS MVP in 1992, and who could forget that towering home run off Dennis Eckersley? That moment didn't just tie the game. It changed the course of Blue Jays history. 10 straight All-Star selections, 10 Gold Gloves, countless memories. When you picture the 90s Blue Jays dynasty, you picture Alomar's electric smile, effortless style, and calm leadership. And when he became the first Blue Jays player ever inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, it wasn't just his moment, it was Toronto's moment too. Number 17, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. The son of a legend and a superstar in his own right. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. grew up in the shadow of greatness, and somehow he's making that shadow his own. From the moment he stepped into the minors, the baseball world watched. Could Vlad Jr. live up to his father's name? By 2021, he had his answer. And so did everyone else. 48 home runs, 111 RBIs, a .311 batting average. At just 22 years old, he wasn't just good, he was dominant. He didn't just hit home runs. He launched missiles into the upper decks, each swing a reminder that Toronto's future was in powerful hands. Every time he came to the plate, fans leaned forward. What would Vlad Jr. do this time? Still young, still hungry, and already among the best hitters in baseball. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. isn't just part of the Blue Jays' next chapter. He is the chapter. If his career continues on this trajectory, he could one day climb to the very top of this list. Number 16, Fred McGriff. Before he was the crime dog in Atlanta, Fred McGriff was Toronto's original powerhouse. From 1987 to 1990, McGriff launched 125 home runs for the Blue Jays, including a league-leading total in 1989. He wasn't just swinging for the fences. He was rewriting the book on power hitting in Toronto. What made McGriff special wasn't just strength, it was discipline. He had the patience to wait for his pitch, the intelligence to outthink pitchers, and the consistency to carry an offense night after night. When the blockbuster trade sent him to San Diego, the same one that brought Joe Carter and Roberto Alomar to Toronto, McGriff didn't fade from memory. Instead, his influence became part of the team's DNA. He was the blueprint, the slugger who showed the Blue Jays how to win with power and poise. Number 15, George Bell. Before the championships, before the big names, there was George Bell. He wasn't just Toronto's first true superstar, he was the heartbeat of a young franchise learning how to win. In 1987, Bell put together one of the greatest seasons in Blue Jays history, hitting .308 with 47 home runs and 134 RBIs, earning the American League MVP award. He played with fire, confidence, and an edge that electrified fans and sometimes rattled opponents. Bell wasn't afraid to show emotion, he played with passion, the kind that made every at-bat feel personal. And when the Sky Dome opened in 1989, it was only fitting that Bell hit the first home run in the stadium's history. He helped transform Toronto from an expansion team into a real contender, proving that the Blue Jays belonged among baseball's elite. Number 14, Devon White. Devon White didn't need words. His defense said everything, patrolling center field like a shadow gliding across the sky. Devo was poetry in motion. He made the impossible look routine, turning what should have been extra base hits into outs with his perfect roots and fearless dives. During his years with Toronto, White won 5 Gold Gloves and played a pivotal role in both World Series championship teams. He wasn't just reliable, he was spectacular, a defensive artist who changed the momentum of games with a single leap. And who can forget that play in the 1992 World Series, the one that almost became a triple play? A moment that still plays in every Blue Jays highlight reel. Devon White proved something bigger, that defense can define a dynasty. Number 13, John Olerud. Quiet, smooth, reliable. John Olerud was the definition of consistency, the kind of player who never chased headlines but always delivered. He didn't swing for the fences, he just sprayed line drives everywhere. In 1993, he flirted with hitting .400 well into the summer, ultimately finishing at .363, one of the highest batting averages in Blue Jays history. Olerud had a swing so pure it looked effortless, an eye so sharp he rarely struck out, and a glove at first base that made every throw look easy. On a roster stacked with big personalities, Olerud was the calm heartbeat, the steady hand that held everything together. He didn't demand the spotlight, he earned respect through perfection. Number 12, Jim Clancy. In the early years, when the losses piled up and the fans were still learning how to believe, Jim Clancy was the man who just kept taking the ball. He was there from the beginning, one of the original Blue Jays, showing up every 5th day no matter how rough things got. From 1977 to 1988, he logged more innings than almost anyone to ever wear the Toronto uniform. He wasn't the kind of pitcher who dominated the headlines, no blistering fastballs or record-breaking stats. But he was a workhorse, the kind every franchise needs to build its backbone. Through those long, lean seasons, Clancy became a symbol of durability, loyalty, and quiet strength. When Toronto finally rose from expansion underdog to contender, his fingerprints were all over that transformation. He didn't just pitch games, he helped lay the foundation for everything that came after. Number 11, Edwin Encarnacion. You could hear it before you saw it. The crack of the bat, the crowd's roar, and then that familiar sight. Edwin Encarnacion's arm raised like he was carrying a parrot around the bases. From 2012 to 2016, few hitters in baseball inspired more fear. Pitchers knew, if they missed, the ball was gone. His 42 home runs and 127 RBIs in 2016 were proof that his power wasn't just real, it was legendary. And then came that unforgettable moment, the 2016 wildcard game. One swing, a walk-off blast, that sent Rogers Center into absolute mayhem. Encarnacion didn't need to talk big. His bat did the talking. Every home run carried a message: don't mess with me. He wasn't just a slugger. He was a symbol of Toronto's power era, combining patience, poise, and pure muscle in one perfect swing. Number 10. Lloyd Moseby. Before there was Devo, there was Lloyd Moseby, the original center field showstopper. They called him Shaker, and for good reason. Every time he stepped on the field, he shook things up. Moseby could do it all: hit for power, run like the wind, and track down fly balls that seemed impossible. Throughout the 1980s, he formed the unforgettable Killer Bees outfield with George Bell and Jesse Barfield, a trio that made pitchers sweat and fans cheer. From 1983 to 1989, Moseby was the complete package: 20 home runs, 30 steals, elite defense, and leadership that kept the Jays competitive before their championship days. He wasn't just part of Toronto's rise, he was the rise. For countless fans, before there were banners or rings, there was Lloyd Moseby, the heartbeat of the early Blue Jays. Number 9. Pat Hentgen. The 1990s may have been dominated by hitters, but Pat Hentgen made sure pitchers didn't go quietly. He burst onto the scene in 1993, helping the Blue Jays capture another World Series title, proving he could deliver under pressure. Then came 1996, Hentgen's masterpiece. He went 2010 with a 3.22 ERA, throwing 10 complete games, and took home the AL Cy Young Award, the first in franchise history. Hentgen wasn't about flash, he was about grit, the kind of guy who refused to hand over the ball no matter how long the night got. He expected to finish every game he started. A quiet competitor, a true workhorse, and a leader in every sense. Number 8. Vernon Wells. For over a decade, Vernon Wells was the face of the Toronto Blue Jays, the steady heartbeat of a team searching for its next great chapter. A 3-time All-Star and 3-time Gold Glove winner, Wells could do it all: hit for power, glide across the outfield with ease, and lead not with words, but with example. In 2003, he put together one of the greatest offensive seasons in franchise history, batting .317, smashing 33 home runs, and driving in 117 RBIs. Even when Toronto wasn't a playoff contender, Wells showed up every single night with the same pride, effort, and professionalism. He was elegance without ego, talent without attitude. For years, he carried the torch of Blue Jays baseball with quiet strength. Number 7. Jesse Barfield. Jesse Barfield wasn't just a right fielder. He was a warning to every base runner in baseball. That arm of his, it was a rocket launcher. Opponents learned quickly: test Barfield, and you'd regret it. His throws were laser accurate, jaw-dropping, and unforgettable. But it wasn't just defense that made him special. In 1986, Barfield exploded at the plate, hitting 40 home runs to lead the American League, a rare combination of power and precision. He also earned a Gold Glove, proving he was one of the game's most complete players. Alongside George Bell and Lloyd Moseby, he helped create one of the most electrifying outfields of the 1980s, the Killer Bees. Barfield might not get the headlines today, but make no mistake, he helped shape the identity of the Blue Jays: tough, talented, and fearless. Number 6. Jimmy Key. Jimmy Key, the man who proved that dominance doesn't always mean velocity. He wasn't flashy, he didn't throw 98 miles per hour, but every pitch had purpose, every outing had poise. Key painted corners like an artist, mixing control, intelligence, and icy calm under pressure. Across 10 seasons in Toronto, he won 116 games with a 3.42 ERA, quietly becoming one of the most consistent pitchers of his era. In 1987, he came within inches of a Cy Young Award, finishing runner-up after one of the best seasons in franchise history. And when the Blue Jays finally rose to championship heights in the early 90s, Key was the foundation, the man who gave his team a chance to win every fifth day. He wasn't loud, he wasn't dramatic, but when you needed a big game, you wanted Jimmy Key on the mound. Number 5. Carlos Delgado, the thunder that rolled through Toronto for nearly a decade. He wasn't just powerful, he was pure power. From 1996 to 2004, Delgado became the face of the Blue Jays, crushing 336 home runs, including that legendary night in 2003 when he launched 4 in a single game. But he wasn't a one-dimensional slugger. Delgado was a master of the strike zone, combining patience with punishment. He led the league in RBIs, OPS, and total bases, and in the process became a 2-time Silver Slugger and 3-time All-Star. Even when the team struggled, Delgado never did. He was steady, loyal, and relentlessly dominant. The bridge between Toronto's championship past and its hopeful future. For a generation of fans, Carlos Delgado was the reason to believe. Number 4. Tony Fernandez. Elegance, loyalty, and heart. When he took the field, shortstop looked effortless. Every backhand and every throw on the run, poetry in motion. A 5-time All-Star and 4-time Gold Glove winner, Fernandez wasn't just a great player, he was a beloved one. He played for Toronto in 4 different stints, always finding his way back home. He still holds franchise records for hits, triples, and games played, proof of his longevity and excellence. And when the Jays won it all in 1993, Fernandez was there, steady as ever, doing what he'd always done, quietly leading through consistency and class. He didn't need flash or headlines. His glove, his grace, and his humility said everything. Tony Fernandez wasn't just the shortstop of the Blue Jays, he was their soul. Do you remember watching Tony's smooth defense, or that unshakable calm he brought to the field? Number 3, José Bautista, the spark that reignited Toronto baseball. For nearly a decade, he was the face and the fire of the Blue Jays. Once a forgotten journeyman, he exploded in 2010, smashing 54 home runs and shocking the baseball world. Then, just to prove it wasn't luck, he did it again and again. From 2010 to 2015, no one in the majors hit more home runs than Bautista. But his legacy? It came down to one swing. 2015 ALDS, Game 5. He crushes a fastball deep into the left field seats, pauses, and flips his bat with pure, unfiltered emotion. That single moment, the bat flip heard around the world, became a symbol of Toronto's return to greatness. Bautista played with heart, anger, confidence, and pride. He wasn't just hitting home runs. He was carrying the hopes of a city that had waited 22 years for playoff magic. He was the Blue Jays. Passion, power, and defiance wrapped in one unforgettable player. Number 2, Roy Halladay. There was a time when watching Roy Halladay pitch felt like watching perfection unfold every 5th day. Focused, unbreakable, determined. From 1998 to 2009, Halladay carried the Blue Jays through the tough years, and he did it without a single complaint. He rebuilt himself from the ground up after being sent to the minors, returning to dominate and win the 2003 AL Cy Young Award. He threw 49 complete games and 15 shutouts for Toronto, numbers that feel impossible in today's game. Every outing was a masterclass in control, work ethic, and quiet excellence. Even after he left for Philadelphia, Toronto fans never stopped cheering him. He was their guy, the ultimate professional. And when he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, Halladay chose no team logo on his cap, honoring both the Blue Jays and the game he loved. Number 1, Dave Stieb. Before the championships, before the glory, there was Dave Stieb, the greatest pitcher in Blue Jays history and the heart of the franchise's first true era of success. He threw more innings, complete games, and shutouts than anyone to ever wear a Toronto uniform. 7-time All-Star, 1 ERA title, and countless moments of brilliance that defined the 1980s Blue Jays. After years of heartbreak, losing multiple no-hitters with 2 outs in the 9th, fate finally gave him his moment. In 1990, Stieb threw the first, and still only, no-hitter in Blue Jays history. He was fiery, fearless, and relentless, the kind of competitor who demanded greatness from himself every pitch. Without Dave Stieb, there would be no foundation for the championships that followed. He was the original Blue Jays ace, and to this day, the greatest player ever to wear the uniform.
Only a few stand
From
as giants
Stieb's
in the
fire to
history of the
Halladay's
game.
precision,
These are the pitchers
from
who
Carter's
redefined the
home
sport
run
with
to
blazing
Bautista's
fastballs,
bat flip,
devastating
from the
curveballs,
dynasty of the
pinpoint
90s
control, and
to the
mental
new
toughness
energy of
that
Guerrero
rattled
Jr.
even the most confident hitters.
The Toronto
From
Blue
dead ball
Jays
era
story
to the
isn't just
modern
about
age,
baseball.
These
It's
20
about
legends
pride,
dominated the
resilience,
game and left a
and
legacy
the moments that
still
make a
echoes
nation
through
stand
every
and
strikeout
cheer.
and shutout
Because in
today.
Canada,
Get ready to
baseball
witness
has a
greatness.
home,
These are the
and it's painted in blue.